This video is about a waiter cried in the street until a rich woman stopped his car. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. A waiter cried in the street until a rich woman stopped his car. The sun dipped low in the horizon, casting a warm golden hue over the bustling streets of downtown. The sound of laughter floated through the air, accompanied by the sizzling sounds coming from nearby kitchens. Jordan, a waiter at the quaint bistro on Maple Street, leaned against a lamppost, a tattered apron still tied around his waist. He felt the world swirling around him while he stood still, isolated in his own thoughts. Just hours earlier, he had served a table full of cheerful diners celebrating a birthday. Their laughter echoed in his ears, contrasting sharply with the pit of despair growing in his chest. Jordan had spent the last few months juggling the demands of his job while navigating a personal storm that had left him feeling adrift. "Hey buddy, you all right?" a patron had asked earlier, picking up on the hollow look in Jordan's eyes. He had smiled, masking his turmoil, but the truth lay painfully close to the surface. As the last customers of the evening trickled out, Jordan felt the weight of his life pressing down on him. His mother had fallen ill, battling an aggressive form of cancer. The mounting medical bills were like a chain around his neck, pulling him into deeper waters. He worked tirelessly, trying to make ends meet, but every paycheck felt like it slipped through his fingers like sand. With each passing day, the strain became harder to bear. He longed for hope, but it felt elusive, like a flickering candle in the wind. The thought of losing his mother haunted him, and he felt trapped in a cycle of despair, unable to see beyond the present darkness. As he stepped away from the bistro, his feet moved on autopilot, carrying him towards the park. The familiar route was usually a source of solace, a space where he could gather his thoughts. But today, the world around him seemed too bright, too loud. The laughter of children playing, the clinking of glasses from nearby cafes, and the joyful chatter felt like a cruel reminder of the happiness he couldn't grasp. Jordan found himself overwhelmed by emotions that boiled over as he reached the edge of the park. Standing at the curb, he let the tears fall freely, the mask he wore shattering into a million pieces. He had always believed that he could handle anything life threw at him, but in that moment, he felt utterly defeated. Suddenly, he heard the rev of an engine behind him, breaking through his despair. Turning around, he wiped his tears with the back of his hand. A sleek black car came to a halt a few feet away, the driver's window rolling down to reveal a woman in her 40s with striking features and an air of sophistication. "Are you okay?" she asked, concern etched on her face. "You looked upset." Jordan hesitated, unsure if he wanted to open up to a stranger. "I'm fine," he managed to say, though the words felt like a lie. "I don't believe you," she replied gently. "It's okay to not be okay. Life can be really tough sometimes." Her empathy pierced through his defenses, and for a brief moment, he felt seen. The woman continued, "My name is Margaret. I used to be a waitress too, once upon a time." Something in her voice resonated with him. He took a deep breath, the heaviness in his chest still present, but her kindness was a welcome reprieve. "I'm just dealing with a lot right now. My mom is sick, and the bills keep piling up." Margaret's expression shifted. "I'm so sorry to hear that. It must be incredibly hard for you." Jordan nodded, overwhelmed by the depth of his emotions. "I am trying to keep everything together, but some days it feels impossible." Her gaze softened, and she leaned slightly closer, as though to share a secret. "I understand. I've faced my own struggles, but I believe that our hardships can lead us to unexpected places of strength." In that moment, Jordan felt a flicker of connection. Margaret's kindness felt like a lifeline, and he found himself wanting to share more. "I don't know how to keep going sometimes. I feel like I'm failing." "You're not failing," she reassured him, her voice steady and warm. "Life is a series of ups and downs. It's about finding the strength to rise again, no matter how many times you fall." Her words hung in the air, and for the first time in weeks, Jordan felt a shift within him. Perhaps he wasn't as alone as he thought. Perhaps there was hope, even in the darkest of times. "What do you do?" he asked, curiosity sparking amidst his sorrow. "I work in philanthropy," she replied, a smile breaking through her seriousness. "I help organizations that support families in need. Sometimes it feels daunting, but when I see how much impact we can make, it keeps me going." Jordan looked at her, a flicker of admiration igniting in his chest. "That sounds incredible. I wish I could do something like that." "You can," she said, her eyes shining with possibility. "Every act of kindness, no matter how small, can make a difference. It starts with reaching out just like we are right now." He pondered her words, feeling a surge of inspiration. Could he find a way to turn his struggle into strength? He had always dreamed of helping others, but life's challenges had made him focus solely on survival. "I've always wanted to help families like mine," Jordan confessed, his heart racing at the thought. "But I don't know where to start." Margaret smiled, a knowing look in her eyes. "Start with what you know. Share your story. You never know who it might inspire." In that moment, Jordan felt a flicker of purpose igniting within him. He had always thought of himself as just a waiter, but perhaps he could be more. The idea felt foreign yet exhilarating, a chance to transform his pain into an avenue for hope. The sound of a car horn pulled him back to reality, and he realized that the world around them was still moving. "I should get going," he said reluctantly, but he didn't want this moment to end. "Wait," Margaret said, reaching into her purse. "Take this." She handed him a card, embossed with elegant lettering. "Call me if you ever want to talk or brainstorm ideas. Remember, you're not alone in this." Jordan took the card, feeling an inexplicable warmth spread through him. "Thank you. Really, thank you." With a final wave, Margaret drove off, leaving him standing at the curb, the weight of the world feeling just a little lighter. As he watched the taillights disappear into the distance, he knew that this moment would spark something new within him. Determined, he took a deep breath and stepped back onto the path toward the bistro. He had no idea what the future held, but now, for the first time in a long time, he felt a glimmer of possibility. A chance to turn his tears into a story of resilience. And in that small moment, hope began to take root within him. As he entered the bistro, he knew that he was more than just a waiter. He was a survivor, a dreamer, and perhaps, just perhaps, on the cusp of beginning a journey towards something extraordinary. Jordan stepped back into the bistro, the familiar scent of garlic and herbs washing over him like a comforting embrace. The soft hum of conversations filled the room, but he felt the pulse of the place in a new way. The laughter and chatter that had once reminded him of his struggles now resonated with possibility. "Hey, Jordan, you look like you've seen a ghost." Lisa, the bubbly bartender, called out as he approached the counter. Her bright smile was contagious, but he felt the remnants of his earlier sorrow hanging on his shoulders. "I'm all right, just thinking a lot," he replied, forcing a smile in return. He didn't want to burden her with his troubles. Not yet. As the evening wore on, Jordan found solace in the rhythm of his work. Serving meals, pouring drinks, and chatting with regulars distracted him from the weight of his worries. He felt a flicker of the passion he once had for his job, rediscovered through Margaret's unexpected kindness. After the last customers had left, he leaned against the counter, staring at the card Margaret had given him. Her words echoed in his mind. "Share your story. You never know who it might inspire." His heart raced as he considered the possibilities. Could he really share his struggles in a way that might help others? His thoughts were interrupted by the sound of footsteps. It was Thomas, the restaurant's manager. "Jordan, can you stay late to help clean up?" he asked, a hint of fatigue in his voice. "Sure, Thomas," he replied, eager to keep busy. As they worked side by side, Jordan found himself sharing snippets of his day, his encounter with Margaret slipping into the conversation. "Sounds like she really struck a chord with you," Thomas noted, his brows furrowing slightly. "You seem lighter than usual." "Yeah, I guess she did. I just feel inspired." Jordan hesitated, unsure of how to articulate the shift within him. "She reminded me that It's okay to seek help, to not be okay. That's important, Thomas said, nodding thoughtfully. Sometimes we need someone to remind us that we're not alone in our struggles. It's easy to feel isolated in this line of work. Jordan felt a rush of gratitude towards Margaret for reigniting his sense of community. And he realized that he hadn't just been a waiter. He had been part of a larger tapestry of lives connected by shared experiences. After closing, his fingers danced over the card once more. He decided he would call Margaret the next day. But first, he needed to process his own feelings. As he got home, he sat down at his small kitchen table and opened his laptop, the glow illuminating his tired face. "Okay, let's do this," he murmured to himself. He began to type, letting the words flow freely. He poured out his heart, detailing his mother's battle with cancer, the mounting bills, and the overwhelming sense of hopelessness that had consumed him. And then he wrote about meeting Margaret, the connection they had forged, and the realization that he could transform his pain into something meaningful. The hours slipped away as he wrote. Each sentence felt like a cathartic release. By the time he hit send on the draft email to himself, the sun was rising, casting rays of light through his window. For the first time in a long while, he felt lighter. There was something powerful about sharing his truth, and in that act, he found a flicker of purpose. The following day, Jordan woke with renewed determination. He took a deep breath and dialed Margaret's number, heart pounding as it rang. When she picked up, her voice brought back the warmth he had felt the previous night. "Jordan, I'm so glad you called." "Hi, Margaret. I wanted to thank you for our conversation. It really helped me see things differently," he began, feeling the vulnerability creep back into his chest. "I'm happy to hear that. How are you feeling today?" she asked, genuine concern lacing her words. "Better, I think. I started writing about my experiences. I want to do something with it," he admitted, his voice swelling with hope. "That's wonderful. Writing can be incredibly healing. Have you thought about sharing it with others?" "I want to, but I'm not sure how to start. It feels daunting," he confessed, doubt creeping in. Margaret's tone became encouraging. "Start small, maybe a blog or a local support group. Your story could resonate with someone who's going through something similar." As they spoke, Jordan felt inspired to take action. That evening, he created a blog, naming it Finding Light in the Shadows. He began to post his writings, sharing not only his struggles, but also the small victories he encountered every day. Weeks passed, and with each entry he discovered a sense of community blossoming around him. People began to respond, sharing their own stories of resilience and hope. It was as if a tapestry of lives woven together was emerging, and he realized he wasn't alone in his struggles after all. One rainy afternoon, as he was sipping coffee and replying to comments on his blog, he heard a knock at his door. It was his neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, an elderly woman who had always been kind but kept to herself. "Jordan, dear, I've been reading your blog," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "You have a way with words that touches the heart. It's helped me more than you know." Surprised, he invited her in, and they spent the afternoon sharing stories. She revealed her own battle with loneliness after losing her husband and how Jordan's words had given her hope. Their connection deepened as they talked about life, loss, and the beauty of human connection. "You see, Jordan," she said, her eyes bright with emotion, "your story isn't just about you. It's a reminder to all of us that we're here for a reason, and that's to help one another." Her words resonated deeply, and he felt a newfound responsibility to continue sharing. He decided to host a small gathering at the bistro to create a safe space for those struggling to share their stories, just as he had opened up. "Time to give back," he said to himself, determination swelling within him. He spoke to Thomas, who immediately agreed to provide the space, and together they planned the event, naming it Stories of Strength. On the night of the gathering, the bistro was filled with an electric energy as people trickled in, regulars from the restaurant, locals from the community, and even some who had connected with him through his blog. Faces filled with anticipation and vulnerability surrounded him. As he stood at the front, heart racing, he looked out at the crowd. "Thank you for being here tonight. We all have our struggles, but we also have the power to uplift one another. Let's share our stories and find strength together." One by one, people stepped forward, sharing their tales of loss, resilience, and hope. Jordan listened, heart swelling with pride as he realized how interconnected their lives were. Each story was laced with pain, yet illuminated by moments of triumph. When it was his turn, he took a deep breath and shared his journey. His mother's illness, his fears, and how this community had helped him find purpose. As he spoke, tears filled his eyes, but they were not tears of sorrow. They were tears of gratitude. "Together we can create a ripple of kindness," he said, his voice strong and clear. "Let's reach out to one another and build a community that thrives on empathy." The room erupted into applause, and he felt a wave of connection wash over him. In that moment, Jordan understood that hope was not just a flickering candle. It was a bonfire fueled by shared experiences, resilience, and love. From that day forward, Stories of Strength became a monthly event at the bistro, where people continued to gather, share, and inspire one another. Jordan's blog grew, and he found purpose in helping others navigate their own storms. As he sat in the bistro one evening, surrounded by friends and laughter, he thought of Margaret and how her kindness had set him on this path. He picked up his phone and sent her a message. "Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. You changed my life." Moments later, the reply came through. "You did this, Jordan. You are the one who turned your struggles into strength. Keep shining your light." With a smile, he looked around the room, filled with laughter, stories, and hope. In the end, it was not just about surviving. It was about thriving together, hand in hand. And in that moment, he realized he had found his place in the world, a place where he could be a voice for others and a beacon of hope. "Aya," Whiter cried in the street, until a rich woman stopped his car. Part 3. As the weeks turned into months, Jordan found himself immersed in the nurturing embrace of his newfound community. The bistro buzzed with the warmth of shared stories, laughter, and a camaraderie that felt precious. He embraced each monthly gathering of Stories of Strength like a cherished ritual, a safe haven where vulnerability transformed into resilience. One evening, as Jordan cleaned tables after the event, a familiar voice broke through his thoughts. "Hey, superstar," Lisa called out, her playful grin lighting the room. "You know, I've seen some of the comments on your blog. People are raving about you." Jordan chuckled, wiping his hands on his apron. "Oh, come on. It's just me sharing my story. It's nothing special." "Nothing special? That's where you're wrong," she exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. "You've created a space where people feel heard. You've inspired others to share their pain and their triumphs. That's incredible." He felt a warm flush creep up his neck. "I just wanted to help people feel less alone." "Exactly," Lisa said, her eyes sparkling. "And you're doing that. But don't underestimate your impact, Jordan. You're a beacon of hope for so many." Her words resonated deep within him, stirring a cocktail of gratitude and inspiration. Yet, amidst the praise, a flicker of doubt lingered. He still grappled with the daily challenges of life and his mother's ongoing battle with cancer, which weighed heavily on his heart. That night, as he closed his eyes to sleep, he found himself reflecting on the complexities of kindness. How can one act of compassion create a ripple that changes lives? He wondered. Margaret's intervention had sparked a shift within him, a transformation from despair to purpose. The following week brought news that shook him. He received a call from his mother's oncologist, asking them to come in for a meeting. Anxiety coiled in the pit of his stomach as he drove to the clinic, the sterile scent of antiseptic filling the air. His heart raced as he sat in the waiting room, fingers drumming nervously on his thigh. When the doctor finally entered the room, the expression on his face was serious. Jordan clenched his jaw, bracing for the worst. "I'm afraid I have some difficult news," the doctor began, delivering a prognosis that felt like a hammer striking stone. His mother's cancer had progressed, and they needed to discuss more aggressive treatment options. His vision blurred, the world around him fading as despair threatened to engulf him once more. How could he bear the thought of losing her? The woman who had stood by him through every heartbreak, every failure, every dream. "Jordan," the doctor's voice cut through his haze. "I know this is overwhelming, but there are options we can explore, and your mother is a fighter." Swallowing back tears, Jordan nodded stiffly. "What do we do? What can I do?" "Support her through this journey," the doctor replied gently. "Your presence will mean the world. And be sure to take care of yourself too. You're in this together." As he left the clinic, Jordan felt a storm brewing within him. The weight of his mother's illness was suffocating, but he knew he had to remain steadfast. Returning to the bistro, he plastered a smile on his face, determined to keep his head above water. Days turned into a blur of juggling work and hospital visits, but the moment he stepped into the bistro, he felt an invisible force pulling him back to life. The laughter of patrons, the clinking of cutlery, and the aroma of fresh food surrounded him like a warm hug. One evening, as he was serving a table, he overheard snippets of conversation from a couple seated nearby. Their voices carried a somber tone. "I don't know how we'll manage the bills. It feels hopeless," the woman said, her eyes brimming with tears. Jordan's heart ached, recognizing their struggle. He approached their table with a warm smile. "Excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear. If you're comfortable, I'd love to share a story about how I turned my struggles into something meaningful." Their eyes widened in surprise, but they nodded, curious. As he shared his journey, he felt a wave of healing wash over him. "We all have challenges, but it's about finding the strength to keep going. You don't have to face this alone." The couple listened intently, and as Jordan spoke, he saw hope ignite in their eyes. When he finished, the man spoke up, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you. You've given us a different perspective. We can get through this." Jordan smiled, the warmth of connection filling him with purpose. "I believe in you both. Just take it one day at a time." After their conversation, he felt invigorated, realizing the healing power in sharing stories. Soon after, the couple returned with friends and family, spreading word about the bistro's monthly gatherings. Jordan's heart soared as he watched the ripple effect of kindness expand further into the community. But as the gatherings grew, so did Jordan's responsibilities. He found himself faced with a choice. Should he continue to pour his energy into the bistro, or take a leap of faith and pursue a larger platform for his writing? In the quiet moments of the night, he found himself sketching out ideas for a potential book. "What if I could compile these stories into something tangible?" he mused, his heart racing at the thought. But self-doubt crept in, whispering that he was just a waiter with a dream. One chilly evening, after hosting another successful gathering, Jordan sat down with Lisa, who was busy organizing the event's logistics. "Do you think I could actually write a book?" he asked, his eyes searching hers for affirmation. "Absolutely," she exclaimed, her excitement infectious. "You've created something amazing here, and your voice deserves to be heard beyond these walls." "But what if it flops?" he countered, anxiety threatening to drown his optimism. "Then you try again," Lisa said simply. "You're not alone in this. Remember, every time you share your story, you're helping someone else. That's what matters." Her words ignited a spark within him. The next day, he poured through his blog posts, curating the stories that had resonated most. Each entry felt like a chapter in his evolving narrative, a testament to resilience and hope. As he worked late into the night, he received a text from Margaret. "Just wanted to check in. How are you doing?" With a smile, he typed back, sharing his progress and the idea for the book. "I'm taking the leap. You inspired me to believe in myself." Moments later, her reply buzzed through. "I'm so proud of you. Your story could touch so many lives. Keep pushing forward." Her encouragement fueled his determination, pushing him beyond the confines of self-doubt. He dedicated himself to writing, carving out hours each day to mold his experiences into something meaningful. Months passed, and through sleepless nights and persistent revisions, he completed the manuscript. He felt a sense of accomplishment swell within him, but fear began to creep back in. What if it doesn't resonate? He pondered, staring at the book cover he had designed. On the day he decided to self-publish, he felt a mix of exhilaration and trepidation. With the click of a button, he released Finding Light in the Shadows into the world, a collection of stories woven together with the threads of vulnerability, strength, and hope. As the first reviews trickled in, he was overwhelmed by the outpouring of support. Readers reached out, sharing personal anecdotes and how his words had touched their hearts. Jordan realized that he had not only shared his own journey, but had also created a space for others to feel seen and heard. One rainy afternoon, he received an unexpected call that would change everything. A local publisher had read his book and wanted to meet. Their interest in collaborating on a larger project sent his heart racing. When he met with the publisher, they spoke passionately about the potential of his story. "We'd love to help you expand on this and even develop workshops based on your gatherings. You have a gift for connecting with people." Jordan sat in awe, his heart swelling with disbelief. "You think my story can help others?" "Absolutely. Your honesty resonates. You've created a movement, and we want to help you grow it." As he left the meeting, he felt as if the universe was echoing Margaret's words. "You're not just a waiter, Jordan. You're a messenger of hope." Days turned into weeks, and soon he found himself immersed in the whirlwind of collaboration. He held workshops at the bistro where stories flowed like rivers, nourishing the souls of everyone present. He felt a profound sense of gratitude for all the struggles that led him here. One night, as he wrapped up a session, he noticed a young woman in the back. Tears streamed down her face as she spoke softly. "I lost my mother last year, and I don't know how to move forward. Your words give me hope." Jordan felt a lump form in his throat. "I'm so sorry for your loss. It's a heavy burden to carry. But I promise you it's okay to grieve, and it's okay to seek joy." A waiter cried in the street, until a rich woman stopped his car, part for a orgy. The bistro buzzed with energy as patrons filled the tables, laughter and conversation dancing through the air like a familiar melody. Jordan moved through the space with purpose, his heart lighter than it had been in months. The gatherings of stories of strength had become a beacon of hope, not just for him, but for everyone who crossed the threshold. Each month felt like a renewal of spirit, a reminder that while life had its storms, they could weather them together. That evening, as he cleared a table, his thoughts drifted to the young woman from the last gathering, Sophie. She had shared her heartbreaking story, standing before the group with tears in her eyes. "I feel lost without her," she had said, referring to her mother. "It's like I'm walking through a fog, and every day is a battle to find the light again." Jordan had felt the weight of her words. They echoed his own struggles. After the gathering, he approached her, wanting to offer support. "Hey, Sophie," he said softly, leaning against the table. "I just wanted to check in. How are you holding up?" Sophie looked up, her eyes glistening. "I don't know. Some days are better than others, but hearing everyone's stories, it helps. It reminds me I'm not alone." "You're definitely not alone," Jordan reassured her. "I know how heavy that feeling can be. It's okay to grieve, and it's okay to seek joy again. It doesn't mean you're forgetting your mother." A small smile broke through her tears. "Thank you for saying that. It's comforting to hear." As they talked, Jordan could feel the connection growing. Their shared pain became a bridge, linking their hearts in understanding. "If you ever want to grab coffee or just talk, I'm here," he offered. "Really? That would be nice," she replied, her voice softening. A few days later, they met at a cozy cafe down the street. The aroma of fresh coffee filled the air as they settled into a corner booth. Jordan watched Sophie as she stirred her drink, a distant look in her eyes. "Do you have any fond memories of your mother?" he asked gently. She nodded, her expression softening. Oh, so many. She loved to bake. I remember the smell of cookies filling the house on rainy days. We'd spend hours in the kitchen, laughing and trying new recipes. That sounds amazing, Jordan mused, a smile tugging at his lips. What was her favorite recipe? Chocolate chip cookies, of course. She always said there's no better comfort food than a warm cookie and a glass of milk. Sophie chuckled, her eyes brightening at the memory. We used to compete over who could bake the best batch. Maybe we should have a bake-off in her honor, Jordan suggested playfully. I could use some practice. My cooking skills are a bit non-existent. Sophie laughed, the sound filling the space around them. Deal. Maybe we can host a small gathering, share stories and cookies. As they brainstormed ideas, Jordan felt a sense of purpose bloom within him. You know, your story matters and sharing it can help others. Just like it helped me, like it helps everyone here. Maybe I'll write about it, Sophie said thoughtfully. It's a scary thought, but I want to honor her memory. Absolutely. Let your words be the vessel that carries her spirit forward. He encouraged her. You have a gift for storytelling, just like the rest of us. Their conversations became a regular occurrence, each meeting strengthening the friendship they were forging in the crucible of shared loss. Jordan admired Sophie's resilience as she navigated her grief, and in turn she drew inspiration from his determination to uplift others through their collective struggles. One crisp autumn evening, as the leaves turned golden and the air became cool, Jordan found himself preparing for another Stories of Strength gathering. He decorated the bistro with twinkling fairy lights and arranged chairs in a semicircle, creating an inviting atmosphere. The air was thick with anticipation, and he could feel the energy buzzing as people began to arrive. Jordan, are you ready for tonight? Lisa asked, her excitement palpable as she helped him set up. More than ready, he replied, a smile breaking across his face. Every gathering brings new stories and connections. It's like a family reunion. As the room filled, Jordan welcomed everyone with open arms. They shared not only their stories but also laughter, tears, and moments of vulnerability. Each narrative was woven together by threads of hope and strength, creating a tapestry of shared human experience. When Sophie's turn came, he felt a mix of pride and anxiety. She stepped forward, her hands trembling slightly. The room fell silent as everyone turned their attention to her. Hi, I'm Sophie, she began, her voice shaky yet resolute. I lost my mom last year, and it's been one of the hardest things I've ever faced. But through this journey, I've learned the importance of sharing our stories, even when they feel too heavy to bear. Jordan watched as she spoke, her eyes lighting up with passion and conviction. I used to think that my grief defined me, but I've realized that my mother's love lives on through me, through my memories, through my laughter, and through the little moments we shared. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she continued. I want to honor her by baking her favorite chocolate chip cookies. I want to create a space where we can celebrate the beauty of life, even amidst the pain. So I'm planning a bake-off and everyone is invited. The room erupted into applause, and Jordan felt his heart swell with pride. In that moment, Sophie transformed her sorrow into something beautiful, a way to connect, to heal, and to spread kindness. After the gathering, she approached Jordan, her face flushed with excitement. I can't believe I did that, she exclaimed, her voice brimming with joy. Thank you for encouraging me. I felt so empowered up there. You were incredible, he said, his admiration evident. You've inspired so many people. Your mother would be proud. Sophie smiled, her eyes shining with gratitude. It feels good to be able to share her spirit in a positive way. I think we can help others heal too. Together, they planned the bake-off, spreading the word through the bistro and social media. The event quickly gained traction, with people from all walks of life eager to participate. Jordan could feel the anticipation building. This would be more than just a baking contest. It would be a celebration of love, community, and resilience. On the day of the bake-off, the bistro overflowed with laughter and warmth. Families and friends gathered, each bringing their own batch of cookies to share. Jordan and Sophie set up tables adorned with colorful decorations and plates filled with sweet treats. "Welcome, everyone," Jordan called out, his voice filled with enthusiasm. "Today we come together not just to compete, but to celebrate the love that brings us here." As people shared their stories while indulging in the delicious cookies, Jordan felt the power of connection enveloping him. He moved through the crowd, encouraging conversations and laughter, while watching Sophie shine as she engaged with everyone who attended. Later in the afternoon, they gathered to announce the winners. "And the prize for the best cookie goes to Mary," Jordan announced, pointing to an elderly woman whose hands trembled with joy as she accepted her award. "I'm just happy to be here," Mary said, wiping tears from her eyes. "Thank you for bringing us all together." As the event wound down, Jordan stood with Sophie, both of them savoring the heartwarming atmosphere. "This was amazing," Sophie said, her cheeks flushed with happiness. "I can't believe how many people came out to support us." "Not just support us, but each other," Jordan replied, his gaze sweeping over the room filled with laughter and connection. "We've created something beautiful here, and it's just the beginning." That night, as they cleaned up together, Sophie turned to him, her expression serious. "Jordan, I want to thank you for everything. You've helped me find my voice again, and I can't imagine going through this without you." "Right back at you," he said, his heart swelling with gratitude. "We're in this together. Your courage inspires me every day." As they finished tidying up, Jordan felt a renewed sense of purpose. He had transformed from a waiter in despair to a storyteller igniting hope in others. And in doing so, he found healing through shared experiences, resilience, and love. With each step forward, he embraced the beauty of human connection. Each story a thread woven into a larger tapestry, a reminder that pain could lead to something remarkable. Hope was not just a flickering candle. It was a bonfire fueled by kindness, resilience, and the unwavering strength of the human spirit. And so, as the sun set over the horizon, Jordan stood tall, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing he was never alone. Together, they would continue to weave stories of strength, igniting the light in each other and illuminating the path for those still lost in the shadows.